guys, it's me, Marcy from Make It, Take It Craft Studio, and today we are going to make a pineapple print garland. So I got all my supplies out here and we're going to get started. I do have Chelsea and Kaylee here with us today. Say hello, guys. Okay, so I'm going to kind of scatter my supplies out here a little bit. What we're going to need in front of us is our white paper and our bubble wrap and your paintbrush. That's what you need in front of you right now. Get all my supplies out of the way. Okay, so take one of your white papers and have it in front of you, or two if you've got enough space. It's our first step. Decide what color you want your pineapples to be. They don't have to be yellow if you don't want your pineapples to be yellow. I'm going to use two different shades of yellow, but you can use yellow, you can use green, blue, red, whatever you want. Put a little paint in your tray. Now remember, a little paint goes a long way. We can always get more paint if we need to. Okay, so yellow and yellow is what I have. So we're going to have our bubble wrap, and you're going to notice the bubble wrap has bubbles on one side, and on the back side it kind of almost feels flat and smooth. So we want to make sure that we're going to be painting on our bubble wrap on the bubbly side. Okay, so don't pop your bubbles because then they're not going to have a print. Okay, so make sure you've got the bubble side up. And you can be right on your white paper, that's fine. Grab your paintbrush in the yellow or whatever color you're gonna make your pineapples. You're gonna paint right onto your bubble wrap. And just kind of wherever, you don't need to like fill your entire bubble wrap in because you gotta be able to touch it too. You're just gonna kind of paint up those bubbles with a coating of paint. Okay, so what we're going to do is be making prints of this bubble wrap all over our white paper. So if you got a good chunk of the bubble wrap painted, what we're going to do is flip it over onto the corner of the paper. And you're just going to kind of press gently on top of that flat side, but don't press so hard you pop your bubble wrap because we're going to keep reusing that, okay? And then you're going to lift it up and you're going to see that it left bubble prints. So you're just going to keep repeating that until you've got your both pages covered in prints. Remember, we can always pause these videos if you need to and come back to it. If you need to go let the dog out or something, you can always come back, pause it, come back. So I'm putting more paint on my bubbles. So I can do another print. And don't push so hard you pop your bubbles. There we go. Okay, and you're just going to keep repeating this until you've got both pages covered in bubble wrap print. And printing is the same thing they use to do newspapers and magazines. They print things on the metal trays, press it on. That's how they make the newspaper print. Just ink onto a stamp, just like this. Okay. And we're basically going to cover your paper. If they overlap a little bit with your prints, that's okay too. It won't cause any problems. If you need more paint, go ahead and get more paint. Like I said, you can always get more. So we are going to be creating 4 pineapples for our garland, is what this will create with 2 pieces of paper. So if you wanted more than 4 in your garland, you're going to want to use more than 2 pieces of paper. I think I'm going to need a little more paint. You girls doing okay over there? Mm-hmm. You want to make sure there's plenty of paint so you get a good print. If you don't have a good print, it still usually turns out just fine. So we're going to be cutting this up anyway. So after a couple prints, you're going to figure out how much paint you actually need. Okay, I've got one paper pretty much covered. I'm going to leave that paper alone for now. Okay. So once you have done this and finished this project, you can always rinse this bubble wrap off in the sink so that you can do more prints on other crafts later. Just make sure you don't pop your bubbles. Almost got mine covered here.
I'm almost done with my first paper.
Awesome. Those are good prints.
I already got done with my first
Let's
paper.
see it.
I got the smallest piece of bubble wrap
Nice.
though.
That's okay. Still works. Okay.
It just takes longer.
Keep printing. Sometimes if you get enough paint on it, you can do two prints with one painting of it. Sometimes not though. Just depends on how much paint you get on there. Set things aside if you need to, if your workspace is a little bit smaller. I'm almost done with my second page. I've got like a strip on my other page I wanted a little more on too, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so I've got mine completely covered, so I'm going to set those aside to dry. We do want them dry for the next step, but they can dry on their own. We don't need to rush it. If you're planning to use this bubble wrap for other projects, you're going to take it right away and rinse it off before it dries. You also want to make sure you get your brush cleaned out. So I'm going to rinse my brush out of my cup of water. You could also take it to the sink and do it straight away. Just make sure you're being nice to your paintbrush. Don't pound it on the bottom. Nice strokes on the bottom, or just good rinsing in the sink.
Pounding it ruins the bristles of the brush.
Pounding your brush on a surface will ruin the bristles of your brush. That's why we don't want to pound. Just nice gentle strokes. Okay. I'm going to go set that aside. I'm going to go set this in the sink because I do want to be able to rinse this off and use this again. Okay, so while those are drying, we're going to clear up our work area, set your paint and paint tray aside, your paintbrush out of the way, and then you can get your green papers.
This one's my second one.
And they're nice. So you're going to have your green paper in front of you. So we had our templates. You have a leaf template and you have a pineapple body template. So this green is going to be the leaf. So we're going to set the pineapple template aside, and we are going to trace and then cut out some leaves. Like I said, 2 pages of printed pineapple will make 4 pineapples. So we are going to make 4 leaves. We're going to start in the corner here and trace around this. You don't need to push super hard. You just need to be able to see your lines to cut it. Use your pencil to trace around on the green paper, or whatever color. You don't have to use green, I suppose. If you're doing kind of a funky colors of pineapple, you can do funky colors of leaves too. And kind of just keep them close together so you can use as little bit of that paper as you can, so you can keep reusing.
Should we cut them out?
And then you're going to cut them out. Yep, I'm going to trace all 4 of mine and cut all 4 at the same time. Do it however you want though. And I think I'm going to do 2 of mine on this color green paper and 2 in my light color green paper. But like I said, you can do any colors that you want. You can be kind of funky and do it on purple or yellow or orange, red, whatever.
Black.
you're wanting your pineapples to be. Black. Kaylee says black would be a good color for pineapple leaves, but whatever color you're feeling like using today. I'm doing mine kind of traditional green, and doing yellow pineapples. Okay. Okay, so set that template aside, set your pencil aside, get your scissors to cut them out. And I like to just kind of cut my paper up so I can get that scrap out of the way.
I put it in the middle of my paper.
That's okay.
You still have room on your paper?
So you can cut out your pineapple leaves.
I bet Mom has plenty.
4 leaves, sets of leaves for our 4 pineapples we're making. If you chose to use more than 2 pages of white paper, then you are going to make more than 4 pineapples. So you want one of these per pineapple that you're making.
I don't have enough room for my voice.
Okay. Do you want some of my paper? I'm just going to cut them out. If they're not all exactly the same, like if you cut one of the leaves a little bit shorter or something like that, it's okay, because pineapples aren't perfect, and this is a craft. It's not like we're trying to be an exact science. Again, I like to just cut my extra off so I have that scrap out of the way. Okay, I'm on my 4th one now. Okay, so I have 4 leaves now, and then scraps. I'm just going to swoop those to my side, out of the way. Okay. So after you have your 4 leaf sections cut out, set those to the side. And then we're going to go to our yellow printed paper. That should be pretty much dry. If it's not and you got lots of goopy places, you're going to want to take it to the blow dryer to dry, or let it finish drying some more. I have a couple spots, but I'm not worried. I'm just going to flip it over, face down on my covered work area, and this is where we're going to trace our pineapples. So we should be able to fit at least 4 on a full-size piece of paper. If you have half size, then it's just going to be, you know, only the 2 or whatever on there. You want to try to get them to the sides and corners as much as possible so you can fit as many as you can. Let's see how many we can get on here. You're just tracing around your pineapple template. My 4th one will definitely fit. If you are using half-size paper, you're going to want to, when you do the stamping, you're going to want to do more than 2 pieces. Okay, so I've got this. I laid it down. I didn't ruin it. So I'm going to cut these out next, but I'm going to go ahead and trace on the other one too. So again, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to trace 4 pineapples onto this back side of my stamped paper, my printed paper. Printing is a good way to get some texture in your art. And again, if you don't cut or trace these guys out just exactly all the same exact, that's okay, because nature is not perfect. Where's that? Okay, so I've got traced on the back of both of my printed papers, and now I'm going to cut those out.
Can I only do 3?
Yeah. And try to stay on your lines when you cut out, just so you don't make your pineapples too much smaller than the shape. Your garland print here will also have a little bit of scraps. If you were wanting to save your scraps to embellish other projects, you can do that. Or you can throw it in recycling. It's paper.
If your paint isn't fully dry, you can flip it over and then put
You
it
want
on.
to trace on the back side, that way you don't have your lines showing on your front side. And even if it's a little bit wetted, it's okay. It won't ruin on your cover table. Okay, so I've almost got one page cut out here. Remember, you can stop this video anytime and pause and come back to it. And if you have questions, you can always join us on our weekly Zooms. Okay, so I've got some scraps here that, like this piece here, that's a good size piece I could save, so I'm going to set that aside. The rest of these are pretty small, so I'm not going to save any of those. I'll just set those aside and get those in the recycling later. I'm going to cut out my other 4. Okay, so we'll end up with 8 pineapple printed shapes is what we'll end up with after we get everything cut out. 4 sets of leaves and 8 pineapple shapes is what we will have once you've cut all these out. Now, if you are using the half-size paper, again, you're going to want to print more than just 2 pages. You can also make only 1 pineapple or 2 pineapples or however many strikes your fancy. You can make 30 of them even if you wanted to make a garland to cover a room or for a party. That'd be fun. Pineapple print garland all over for a party. Okay, so you're just going to cut those out. Okay, again, I've got a piece here that's kind of a good size to be able to save for some other projects. So I'm going to save that. I'll put the rest of my scraps over. Actually, I might have a good one here too. I think I'm going to save that guy too. That's a good one to save. So pieces like that are good for embellishing other stuff. Embellishment means glue things or attach things for design. Okay, so now I have 8 pineapples cut out and 4 leaves cut out. So our next step is going to be to build our pineapples. So I'm going to leave 2 pineapples and 1 leaf set out and put the rest to the side a little bit. And I'm going to get my glue. Okay, so I'm going to take 1 pineapple shape. I'm going to put it face down on the table. And I'm going to put glue all over it. Are you girls doing okay?
Yeah. How many pieces do I need?
You should have 8 pineapples in the end. She's doing less.
No, but she needs 6. Then.
Yeah, you'll need 6 if you're doing 3 pineapples.
6. What was that?
I was blinded from reflection outside. Okay, so you're putting glue all over the back of one of your pineapples. Then you're going to set your pineapple leaves up on the glue, but overlapping a little bit. Can you girls see what I just did? So I put glue all over the back of one of my pineapple shapes. I set the leaves on, overlapping just one end, the straight end of our leaves, and then I'm going to kind of just put some glue on the end of that too to lay this other pineapple on top. So now this has created a 2-sided pineapple. Do you girls see that? Keely?
I saw.
Okay. So you're going to repeat that. So I'm going to get 2 more pieces of pineapple and a leaf set. I'm going to flip 1 pineapple over, Put glue all over the back. You could use glue stick for this. You could use hot glue, I suppose. Tacky glue, school glue, whatever kind of glue. I'm going to put my pineapple leaves in the straight end towards the pineapple. Put some glue on that to stick on. Set this other pineapple on top. I've created a two-sided pineapple. Nice. So I'm going to repeat that again. 2 more pineapples, another set of leaves, 1 pineapple face down. I'm going to put glue all over it. Put a leaf set on it. Put some glue on the leaves at the bottom just to attach my other pineapple piece. I've created a two-sided pineapple. I have 1 more to make. I have 2 pieces of pineapple. I have 1 set of leaves, 1 pineapple face down. Glue all over it. Then we're gonna get the leaves up there at the one end. Glue on that so I can attach my other piece of pineapple. Okay, so now I have 4 two-sided pineapples. I'll set the glue aside. So I'm going to line my pineapples up in front of me. So you can see my 4 pineapples here. And so our next step is going to be to put holes in so we can hang our pineapples by our yarn so we can have a garland. So you're going to take your hole punch and you are going to stick the tip of your pineapple into your hole punch. And then you're just going to push it closed and it creates a hole. So I'm going to do that with all 4 of my pineapples. However many you're doing. If you're doing 2, if you're doing 30 of them, you want to do that for all of them. So you can attach them. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside now. So I have 4 holes, 4 pineapples. I'm going to set everything else aside because this is all we need now is this, the string, and scissors to cut it, okay? So now I'm going to kind of measure how much of the yarn I'm going to want. Leave some at the end to create a way to hang it, okay? And then I'm just going to kind of measure out here, get some good amount of string. We're going to be tying that, so I'm going to just kind of pretend there's a tie there so I can measure, and pretend there's a tie there so I can measure, pretend there's a tie there to measure, pretend there's a tie there to measure, and then some at the end so that I can hang it. So I'm going to snip that, set the string aside, set the scissors aside, okay? So we're going to take our yarn back off there after we measured it and cut it. So you're going to string it through, and I think I'm going to start at this end over here. So you're going to start at one end. You want to get your tail over, okay? And then we want to tie. And we're just going to tie a regular old knot. You don't need to tie it super tight. It's not like it's going to weigh, okay? So there's 1 pineapple. I've got the end pulled over to the side. So next one I'm going to do is string it through this one with this end. And I'm going to pull it through. And I'm going to try not to touch this pineapple, make it move. So I want space between my pineapples, right? But I need to tie a knot. So I'm going to kind of loop it and put it through. Put my finger on the pineapple, finger on there, pull the string, get it in there.
This pineapple done.
So I'm going to slide over so I can do my next one. I'm going to string it through the hole. I'm going to pull it through so I can see where I'm at. And I want space between there again. If you really want it to be precise, you can get your ruler out and measure in between. I'm not really that precise. It's crafting. It's for fun. I don't think I need to make it perfect. So I'm just going to loop my string on and tie it on also. Hang on to the pineapple. Hang on to the string. Again, you don't have to tie it super tight. It's not going to run away. Then you're going to string it through your last pineapple here. And again, I'm going to pull it through so I can see where I'm at. Okay, and then I'm going to loop it to tie it again. I'm going to hang on to the string and the pineapple. I'm going to pull my loop through. And there we go. Now we have a pineapple garland. I'm going to set those back down here so you can see. So I've got my ends. I like to create a little loop at the ends so that I can actually hang them up. How are you girls doing?
Good.
Good.
Look. I folded the paper so that you don't have to cut two.
At the ends here, I'm going to kind of just fold this over like that. I'm going to hang on to it and I'm going to create a knot like this. I'm going to pull my loop back because then it's going to create a loop that I can hang it onto a nail or a tack, something like that. I'm going to go to the other end and do that too. This end ended up being a lot longer, and that's fine. I can trim it down. I probably don't need it quite that long. I'm going to fold it down again though. I'm going to create a loop, pull my loop through, then I'm going to trim that. Okay, so I now have a loop at each end and 4 pineapples. There's our pineapple garland. Thanks for joining us.